We all know and love cars, right? They're practical, convenient, and something many of us rely on daily. By a show of hands, who here drives a car? Okay, now, have you ever stopped to think about how incredibly useful windshield wipers are? I know, it might seem like a random thing to consider, but it's one of those features you don't truly appreciate until it's gone. Because without them, you'd sort of look like this. Not very safe, right? Funny thing is, they weren't always a built-in feature. In fact, they weren't even invented by car manufacturers as many people would assume. They were invented by a woman named Mary Anderson. Mary Anderson's name isn't exactly a household one, and you might be thinking, so what? They're just windshield wipers. But here's the thing. Not only did her invention significantly improve road safety, something we now take for granted, but her story reflects a much bigger pattern. A pattern where female inventors have contributed to our world in meaningful ways. Yet, their names and legacies often go unnoticed. A 2019 poll done by the UK education charity Teach First found that only 49% of British adults could name at least one female inventor, whereas male inventors were recalled much more easily. And that's just the UK. Imagine how much smaller that percentage might be globally. And among those who can name a female scientist, it's almost always Marie Curie, but there have been so many more. It was also found that less than 5% of US patents between 1790 and 1930 list a female inventor. Not because women weren't inventing, but because many had to file under a male relative's name or couldn't file at all. Some used initials, some used male aliases. Why? Because women weren't seen as credible inventors. And even when they did try, men usually stole their inventions or took credit for them. These are paper bags. We all use them, whether for shopping, groceries, or presents. We all know them. We all love them, especially when there's a nice gift inside. Margaret Knight is actually the reason these types of bags exist. She was the brilliant innovator in the 1800s who designed a machine which created the flat-bottomed kind of paper bags, the type that stands upright on their own. Before her invention, paper bags were basically just envelopes, flimsy, awkward, and really more frustrating than helpful to use. Her machine automated the folding and gluing process, revolutionizing the way bags were made, a design used in grocery stores to this day. However, when she came forward with this, a man named Charles Annan attempted to steal it. And when she found out what's going on, she took him to court. And she won. So not only was she incredibly intelligent, she also had the determination and courage to stand up for herself. This does make me wonder, how many inventions do we use every day that might have had a woman behind them and we'll never know? It's a fact. Things were different back then. Women weren't encouraged to pursue a higher education. Many, though they had the potential, were deprived of an education at all. Nevertheless, there were still some amazing figures who rose above this adversity and made significant contributions in our world. During a time when they had limited resources, limited opportunities, no support, and no one who believed in their potential. We fail to recognize them despite everything they managed to achieve. Isn't that a shame? Don't worry though, we'll change that today. Let's go on a journey through history together to finally honor these amazing women. Imagine this. A friend invites you over to their house for the first time, and you don't know how to get there. So you pull out your phone and ask them to send you their location. Thank God for GPS. Imagine having to unfold a paper map while driving to see where you have to go and where the best route to take is. I honestly don't know how they used to drive anywhere. Actually, GPS isn't just about getting directions to your friend's house. It's also critical for air traffic control, automatic landings, power grids to synchronize electricity flow, telecommunications to time signals precisely, and even farming for mapping fields and tracking crop yields. So as you can see, we rely on GPS in so many ways every day, yet few people know the name Gladys West. The woman who laid the foundation for it all. She, despite not only gender, but also racial barriers, she managed to earn a scholarship to college and became one of the first few black women mathematicians in the late 1950s working in the US Navy. Through hard work and brilliance, she analyzed satellite data and created complex models of the Earth's shape. Her groundbreaking calculations allowed GPS technology to be accurate, shaping the way we navigate the Earth today. Although she didn't invent GPS technology itself, without her work, it would either be inaccurate or completely non-existent. Now, let's dive into a deeper part of history. Maryam al-Astrolabi was a 10th century Syrian Muslim scientist and maker of astrolabes, an advanced scientific instrument of her time. She is credited with perfecting and innovating its design. In fact, she was so good, she was employed by the prince himself, Amir Saif al-Dawla. She worked under his patronage. An astrolabe is an ancient astronomical tool used to calculate time and measure the position of stars, planets, and celestial bodies. It was even used to solve problems in astronomy and geography. Maryam's work with the astrolabe was vital in advancing astronomy and navigation in the Islamic Golden Age, laying the groundwork for the modern tools we heavily rely on, like clocks, compasses, and even the GPS technology that was just mentioned. She proved that women could play a key role in science and technology, even in times where female scholars were rare. Her skills were truly one of a kind. Sadly, her name is rarely mentioned in any articles relevant to her topic or her era. Now, let's imagine it's a freezing winter day. Snow is falling hard, the wind is howling, and temperatures are way below zero, but there's no central heating. You're wrapped in layers and layers of blankets just trying to stay warm. Doesn't make winter sound very cozy, does it? Luckily, that's not our reality anymore, and we have innovators like Alice H. Parker to thank for it. In 1919, this exceptional African-American woman patented the design for one of the first central heating systems powered by natural gas. Although her exact model wasn't built at that time, her idea paved the way for the safer, more efficient whole-house heating systems we use today. There are still so many more women that deserve to be mentioned. But unfortunately, we don't have the time to dive into every single story today. So instead, let's just do a quick speedrun to prove how long the list really is. In 1986, Patricia Bath invented the laser phaco probe, a revolutionary device that uses laser technology to remove cataracts, a condition which causes cloudy vision and could lead to blindness, with greater precision and safety. Her invention restored eyesight to millions worldwide. Stephanie Kwolek invented Kevlar, a synthetic fiber used in bulletproof vests, literally saving lives. Shirley Ann Jackson's research paved the way for caller ID, caller waiting, and fiber optic cables. Maria Telx was a pioneer in solar energy. She was one of the most important women in renewable energy history, designing the very first solar-powered house. Letitia Mumford-Gear transformed healthcare with her one-hand medical syringe invention. Did you know that the coffee filters you use every morning for that essential cup of coffee were invented by Melita Benz? She also invented the drip brewing system and later founded a company, Melita, by her name, which still exists today. And if you love Wi-Fi, and let's be real, who doesn't, then you must know Hedy Lamarr. Many might initially recognize her as an actress, but she was also a skilled innovator. Her 1941 patent for frequency hopping technology allowed for modern wireless communication. Okay, I think by now the message is clear. But this goes beyond just sharing interesting facts. It's about something much bigger. representation. When certain voices are consistently left out of the story, it sends a quiet but powerful message about who belongs in science, innovation, history, and who doesn't. The absence of representation isn't harmless. It hides a deeper issue, one that feeds ignorance, reinforces outdated beliefs, and holds back progress for everyone as a society. Just look at the kinds of comments that still exist today. Here's two I came across online, and sadly, they're not unique. Everything in this world is man-made, from our roads to our houses, for protection from wild animals or criminals. Without men, we all are nothing. A woman can't even survive more than 3 days without men, but in reality, men don't really need women, and so on. A review of the UK's 3 largest exam boards of the double science GCSE, one of the most widely used curricula, found that male scientists were mentioned 40 times, whereas female scientists were mentioned only twice. Personally, I cannot recall a single moment where I was taught about an important female figure in STEM at school. And that's disappointing, because when young girls never see women represented in these fields, they may not realize what's possible for them. And when young boys grow up without ever being exposed to female scientists or innovators, they may adopt biased, even misogynistic views, perhaps not out of hatred, but out of pure ignorance. This is where education can make a difference. If you're a father, a brother, a teacher, wouldn't you want your daughter, sister, or student who achieved something world-changing to be well-known? Wouldn't you want her name to get the credit it deserves? These women may not have made it into our textbooks, but they've shaped the world we live in today. It's time we remember them and make sure the next generation does too. Thank you.